And I'll make you guys nice and big so it looks right at recording. Awesome. There we go. So welcome to Tuesday night training. And it's just great to see so many of you guys on here. I know there's so many other things we can be doing with our evenings, but I personally believe, which is the reason that I've been doing Tuesday night training since I started with Plexus, really, or since I actually grew a little team, that I have believed so strongly in having the training every Tuesday. And since, I don't know, October maybe, I don't really know, don't remember, but we've been having these team-wide on Freedom Revolution trainings, and it's been great because we've had a host of different people who've come on to speak. We've had everything from our sideline to wonderful leaders just within Freedom Revolution, which has been excellent. And the focus of tonight's training is the first few chapters of a book called Get Over Your Damn Self. And it is a fantastic book. I'm actually listening to it on audio. I use Audacity. It's an Amazon download book thing. It's $14.95 a month, and you can get credits for free books and stuff like that. So it's a good deal. But I listen to it when I'm out and about, when I'm in the car, when I'm out running and stuff like that. So I've actually been able to do all my personal development while on the fly. And I never thought I'd be a listen to a book person. My father-in-law used to buy CDs. I think my husband's on here somewhere. Used to buy the CDs and listen to them. And I used to make fun of them. And now I'm that person. So here we go. But the reason for this book, actually, Krista brought it to my attention and said that she was reading it and asked me if I had read it yet. And she told me that she really thought it would really resonate well with me and with all of us in general, with the team. And so I just kind of took a gaze at it. And well, I was hooked after I heard the free sample. So I just jumped in and started listening to it. And I think what it did for me, or what it continues to do for me and is doing for me now, is it's helping me be a lot more aware of my thought processes and what they mean and how to really be intentional. We talk about being intentional so much with Plexus and probably with network marketing in general, but I think it's important to understand sort of those connections we have with our brain and the conversations that we're having with ourselves, and how to utilize the positivity that we all have within us, and to work smart and all the things that we're always hearing about. So, oh, thank you. I have hot tea. I'm freezing. So I am just going to jump in and tell you a little bit about this. So everyone has the potential. Everybody on this team has the potential to grow the business of their dreams. We all do. And it requires an absolute awareness of the mindset of top leaders. So how do we acquire that? How do we learn how to think like that? How do we grow that way? What do we need to do? So I believe, like, I feel completely filled up by the ingredients in the book. And it makes me feel like I'm heading that way much more now than ever because of what I'm learning with this book. We have to help, this is just a preface, okay? We have to help our teams build their businesses and reach their goals and their whys in order for our downlines to grow. The 80-20 rule, we can't expect, we really have to do the heavy work. We are the leaders on our teams. And if we want to have our leaders emerge from within our teams, then we have to act accordingly. And we really have to help them. We have to reach down. We have to nurture them. On our team right now, there's a team of leaders. We're developing a new ambassadors sort of kit for our new ambassadors. Not to add to all the other things we have, but more to complement it. So it's not complicated. It's just step one, step two, step three checklists. And they kind of go in line with this, this way of thinking. We all have to be willing to be honest with ourselves. And I think if you are ready to do that, you will devour this book. So you have to be willing to be honest with yourself about all kinds of things and where you are at. We all know that life begins and success begins in network marketing at the edge of your comfort zone, so at the start of your comfort zone. And that is really important to recognize. And that ties right in with your willingness to be honest with yourself so that you know where the edge of your comfort zone is. we are sitting on an absolute limitless possibility here for us to go up. And I hope that this training will be, it's going to be several part training that's going to start tonight. And it won't be just Julie and I speaking on it, but we really think it's going to help. And so I'm going to just jump into the first bit. And the title of this, if you're making notes, is Why People Fail. And so this business is, we hear people say this all the time, the business is very simple, but it's not easy. We need to learn resilience. And this business is going to test us big time. We're going to have highs and lows in a business like this. And it's important for us to understand that going in so that we can keep a stable emotional response to both of those things. It's okay to be excited when things are going well, but we need to keep some semblance of stability there so that we're not way up here or way down there. And we know this, we've trained on this, we've talked about this, and it is common sense. But the most important reasons that people fail in this business, aside from everything I just said, just kind of keep that tucked away, I will bring that back out later, is that the top reasons that people fail is that they are not coachable. And we talk about coachability all the time. And what coachability means is that you are willing to take lead from someone else to learn the simple, we said our business is simple, the simple processes. Because network marketing is different. It's not the same as a brick and mortar business. It's not the same as corporate Canada or corporate America. It's just not the same. We need to be all in to learn the systems that are there. And we need to make that decision to be 100% coachable, or we won't be successful, period. So how would we recognize if somebody wasn't coachable? They're just not following the lead. They're not showing up to go up. They think maybe that they know how to do it better. Maybe they're a little bit arrogant about that. And maybe you can think of people on your team who are like that. I don't know, but you really need to look at yourself. Are you willing to listen to those processes? Are you following the training that's being offered to you that gives you those simple processes and steps? Are you doing that? Are you being coachable? So this is the top reason that people fail, is when they're not coachable. Okay. So really look at yourself in the mirror. Remember, I said you have to be willing to kind of be honest with yourself. Are you coachable? Then the second reason is they don't treat it like a business. So some people have really big, they state this huge goal, like I want to be diamond, or I want a Plexus Lexus, okay? But they treat their business like a hobby. And if you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby, and you're not going to be driving a Lexus, right? That's not to say that we don't need time to get there, even with big goals and working super hard. But I'm saying, 80% of network marketers drop out in the first 3 months because they expected the Lexus within the 3 months. Okay. So if you work it like a hobby, you get it paid like a hobby, and network marketing requires the same efforts as a job. It does. It requires the same types of effort. The flexibility is there for us, but it's still, especially in these beginning steps that most of us are in, it requires that we put the time in. As she says in the book, it's network marketing, not net slacker marketing. And I really like that she says that. And, I'd write that down if I were you. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally, it's comical, it's witty and everything, but it's really true. Like, you can't sometimes work it and sometimes not, and sometimes half-ass it and sometimes no ass it. Like, you really have to put everything into it. Your IPAs need to happen consistently. If they're not consistent, your funnel won't have anybody in it. And then it takes time for that funnel to process through the bottom. We know this. If you've ever slacked off on your business, then you went whole hog back into it again. You've seen that happen. Yeah, some people are raising their hands. Good for you. Willingness to be honest. Excellent. So you really need to keep that IPA going. And maybe some days you're reaching out to 20, and maybe some days it's 1, but you're in the practice every day. You've got the habit going, and then it'll become a pleasure thing, which we'll talk about in a bit here. So if you go into your business and you turn the open sign on, or you flip it the other way, flip from closed to open, you're open, right? That's what you need to do with your network marketing business. And the way she talks about it in the book is, if your mouth is closed, your business is closed. And I loved that. So every time you leave your house, and Sheila Medina talked about this too on that call she did not long ago. It was with her own team, but we had the Zoom link to go to it. And she talked about that too. She said, you know what, if you're leaving your house and you don't have pink drink and a business card or something in whatever that tool is that you want to use, you don't have that in your briefcase, your purse, your bag, whatever. If you don't have that with you and you're not leaving with the mindset to talk about Plexus, then you're not all in and you're not really working the business, and your business is closed when your mouth is closed. So I really liked that extension on that a lot. So then she goes in to talk about the 80-20 rule. And it's really funny because that's been talked a lot about lately. Like, I've just noticed a lot of leaders in Plexus in general talking about it, and leaders in other multi-level marketing companies, or even just leadership gurus talking about this. So the 80%, 20% is, you spend 80% of your time with your business open. So if you have 1 hour, 80% of that hour is spent with your mouth open or moving. And that might mean this, okay? It depends on what you're able to do, right? I can't walk around talking about Plexus where I work. I teach teenagers. They don't want to hear me talk about Plexus. So I have to do it different. I have to do it smarter, different. If I'm on summer vacation though, I can. So it just depends on what's going on in my life, and you need to tailor that. So we need to be creative and not close doors to our IPA, to our prospecting. Within that 80%, pardon me, we also need to be training our newbies who are in their first 30 days of business. So I don't know if anybody else is guilty of this on this call, but I've had people join the business and they said, yeah, well, I'll get to that, and I'll read that, and I'll do that. Yep. And then I felt like I was pushing them too much, so I backed off a little bit. You know what? If somebody wants the business, we need to help them. We're responsible to get them to silver in 30 days, or at least really, really give the 110% effort trying. And if they're not working that on their side, then that's something different. But if they're working it on their side, and you're working it on your side, then that click has to happen. If someone indicates to you that they want to do the business, then we are responsible to give them those tools within reason. If they're not taking them, then you got to move on to the next person on your team. But I think it's important that we are working hard to do that. The other 20% is spent on our own personal training, and then the training of the rest of our team. Okay, because newbie training is going to be different from training that we do with our team, with the rest of our colleagues. Okay. So we can maneuver around hours. We can maneuver around, what time of day we do these things, but ultimately they have to happen. All of them. For us to be successful and succeed and move forward in network marketing, we have to do these things. So that was number 2. Number 3, and this is probably the biggest, to me, on my team, this is the biggest one. People are not willing to get uncomfortable. So raise your hand if you've hit a wall and you're like, nope, and you went the other way. Instead of pushing it over, you went right or left. How many of you guys have done that? I've done that. Of course you have. Yes. So here's the thing about that. Sometimes we think we're reaching out to people because we're practicing it. So we're getting ready to do it. We're listening to videos. We're organizing ourselves. We're, getting stuff done around our workspace or that kind of stuff. That's really not reaching out to people. We have to actually just jump in and do it. You kind of have to practice it as you go. Go to your sponsor, ask for help. If you don't know what words to start with, but you got to just jump in and kind of wade through the mud until you get your groove on. And that's really the truth. So often you hear people say, we don't have to know everything about this business to do it. Excuse me. And we don't have to know everything at all. It's good to know some things, but we don't have to know everything. And especially when it comes to reaching out to somebody about your excitement, you don't have to know everything. You really don't. If you're not making mistakes, you're not stretching yourself or trying hard enough. And that's a quote from the book. So if you're not making mistakes, you're not stretching yourself or trying hard enough. And no one likes to hear that they're not trying hard enough. But again, go back to the beginning. Be willing to be honest with yourself. Okay? And if you are making mistakes, congratulations. That's wonderful. Mistakes are great. You're going to learn from those, especially if you don't hide behind them. If you bring them to your sponsor, bring them to your friend, bring them to someone on this call, because everybody on this call wants to get ahead and they want to learn how to. So definitely do that. Number 4. So number 3 was people are not willing to get uncomfortable. Pardon me. Number 4, people are not hungry enough for it. They find reasons to create excuses, or they find excuses to create reasons, whatever. Life gets in the way. I'm tired. My kids are sick. My dog needed a needle. Work's really busy. It's dark early. I'm tired. It's cold outside, whatever, right? We create these excuses. And really, those excuses, number 3 and 4, are so closely tied together. Being unwilling to get uncomfortable and not being hungry enough can kind of go together. Like, you can knock over that uncomfortable piece if your hunger is great enough. Okay. We are all working, and this sounds very finger wagging. I'm saying it to myself with my fingers going in both directions. We are all working the same 24-hour day. We all have the same 24 hours. Yes, some of us have more things in those 24 hours, but how many people have you heard say, busy people get stuff done? And it's true. Look at the busy people on this call. It's crazy. I'm looking around this call. I see moms, I see dads, I see grandparents. I see people who work full time. I see people who work multiple jobs. I see people who work jobs and have like extensive hobbies outside of their jobs that they're passionate about, and they make it all work, right? So I know that we can all do this. It's just that some people are more hungry than others. And that really is the bottom line. And you need to find what it is. What's your hunger? And that leads us to, you got to ask yourself, are you doing whatever it takes to do this? And in the highs and lows, are you hanging on to any and all positives? Because that's really important. Any success is a success. If it's a compliment from somebody that already purchases from you, if it's somebody who comes back to you and says, I'm not ready yet, but I will be soon. If it's, you heard something great about the products from somebody that isn't even purchasing through you, they're purchasing through somebody else, that's a success. That's validation. Look to all those positives, because they're going to help you find your way into this next piece. The hunger that you need to find and you need to figure out is going to fuel your commitment and your consistency, and that's really important. So you need to figure this out, okay? It's not rocket science at all, but you need to figure out what it is that you want that you don't have already. So what is it that you want that you don't already have? And I'm not talking about stuff. What is it that you want that you don't already have? And you know what? If we want something, if we hunger for something in life, we can make it happen, right? So you need to dig really deep. Maybe you're not dreaming big enough. Maybe you need to start dreaming bigger. So, for example, somebody might say, I'm turning the page, sorry. Somebody might say, I'm here because I really want to help put my child through college. I really want to put my child through university, or I want to help them with their university. That's a really general reason. And it's probably not hungry enough. Okay. So let's talk about, why are you here? Like, why are you here on this call? Why are you with Plexus? Why are you doing this network marketing business thing? In order to get yourself out of your comfort zone, your why has to be about something. It has to be about more than your child's college education. It has to be about more than wanting to get your kids all the right things. It has to be about more than driving a fancy car. It has to be about you. So we on this call are probably, and I'm making assumptions, but I'm going to say that we all put others first a lot, right? Well, your why has to be about you. So you need to dream big about yourself. It has to be about you, for you, so that you can create this wonderful big dream that is going to make you supremely hungry to get there. So your why is over here, your goal is here, and your hunger is in between. I gotta sneeze. Oh, maybe not. It's never happened to me before on a Zoom. Okay, I'm good. Woo, that was good. Okay. So you need to keep asking yourself, what is it about me that I want for me? What is my big dream? So it's kind of like in the book, they talk about this onion where you can peel off the layers of this onion, and you have to keep asking yourself a question as you peel each layer off. So maybe the goal is, I want more for my kids. Well, that's a really sort of general why, right? So you peel off a layer. Why do you want more for your kids, right? Well, I want more for my kids because I want them to have more than I had when I was a kid. Well, why do you want them to have more than you had when you were a kid? You peel off another layer of the onion. You can see yourself starting to get deeper and deeper and deeper into your why, until you realize maybe by the fourth or fifth layer, I want more for my kids than I had when I was a kid because mom and dad weren't really around and a whole lot. And this isn't necessarily my story, but mom and dad weren't really around a whole bunch. They worked all the time. And, I always had to wait till later and wait till later. And I don't want my kids to live like that. I want my kids to have us. I want us to have good quality time together. And that is my why. I want to be home with my kids. I'm tired of working the dog hours of my job and checking into somebody else every day and not having anything left for my kids when I get home at night. That's a strong, solid why. And that is hunger for somebody. Okay. So once you know your why, that's when you start setting your goals. Okay. Your goals don't come before your why. And I think that's where a lot of us are failing ourselves, is that we're setting goals. I want to be silver. I want to be gold. I want to be done. I want 15 customers. I want my PV, my OV, blah, blah, blah. No, figure out your why and then set your goals. Okay. And I'm going to help you with that goal piece based on the book. Now, we use the acronym SMART a lot. I know in education we use it all the time. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time sensitive in terms of setting goals. So you want to set specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, realistic goals in a certain time frame. All right. And the 3 W's that you can ask yourself as you are setting these goals are these. What do I want to accomplish? When do I want to accomplish it? And why do I want to accomplish it? That is going to make that goal, those onion layers are going to be able to peel off so much easier. Not the onion layers, sorry. You're going to be able to answer those questions so much easier because you've peeled off all those layers of the onion and you have your why. It's solid in your mind and you're going to be able to answer those questions. What do I want to accomplish? I want to be able to accomplish X, Y, Z. When do I want to accomplish this and why? So the when and putting the time on it, remember this has to be realistic. So we're not going to say we want our Plexus Lexus in 3 months, right? Because that's not measurable. That's not attainable. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So we need to figure out exactly what we want to accomplish in that time period so that you can set those goals. And this is something that I would say, it all is also dependent on how much time and effort you're willing to put in. So, if you're going to put in 3 hours a week, then you're going to have to set goals that reflect that. If you're going to do your daily income producing activity, and you're going to fill out a very specific income IPA checklist, then your goals can be greater. But you need to measure your SMART goal against how much time and effort you're willing to put in. So that goes right back to the beginning of the training, doesn't it? You have to be willing to be honest with yourself. Where are you? What is your why? And set your goals so that they're realistic. Now, SMART goals and stretch goals are two different things. So we all should have that great big dream, and that's our stretch goal. We're stretching our imaginations, and we're stretching our time out by doing that. So set those stretch goals. I want to be diamond. I want to go to Hawaii. I want time freedom. I want whatever those are, okay? But make sure that your SMART goals, again, are specific, measurable. You can achieve them. You can achieve them in the time that you've set, and that it's realistic for you, okay? The last thing I want to talk about that was when our company, and they do it a lot, sets an incentive, that should be right here. You should have that here and here and here. Put that on your phone. Put that everywhere where you can see it, and really that's when you want to really, really stretch and set those goals higher and really push to get those incentives. And our company gives us some fabulous ones. It's really amazing. So make sure you're doing that. And lastly, I want to talk, how many of you attended a dream board activity? It didn't have to be the one we did in Fredericton. Who has a dream board? Just raise your hand if you have one. Okay. If you don't, that's okay. Julie's pointing at hers if you're on her screen. So dream boards are great. And I've done 2 exercises with dream boards. When you visualize it, there's something very, very strong about that. When you create a dream board, is just a visual of your goals, and it can evolve and change over time. And it's something that you can have there as a reminder for you, and it can help to manifest for you and help you create greater intention every single day, especially if you've got that dream board somewhere close by that can really, where you can see it. It's going to help to build your confidence every time you have a goal and it's on that dream board, or every time you reach that even a smaller measurable goal that's takes less time to get there. So in order to get to all of these things, you've all said yes to the business. Then we talked about the next step. The next step is your why, not your goals. The next step is making your goals, your SMART goals. And the next step is the day-to-day process, the IPA, okay? So I'm just going to share my screen for a second, and I'm just going to show you guys a quick little visual of that. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to show you at all. Can someone unmute themselves and tell me if they can see?
Yep.
Yeah, you can see.
I can see your checklist.
Okay.
And
this is what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is us when we join Plexus. Yes, I want to do this biz. Okay. You need to establish that why. You need to peel off the layers of the onion, and you need to ask yourself why every step of the way. So I want, my kids, my little analogy about my kids earlier. I want more for my kids. That's what I used. Well, why do you want more for your kids? Well, because I want them to, have parents at home more often, because when I was a kid, my parents were always working, and I always felt, neglected, or not neglected, but that I was, sort of second. Well, why would that be helpful, to be home with the kids all the time? So those types of things for your why, keep peeling those layers back, and every layer, ask why again. Set your goals really SMART for your business, and go to your sponsor if you're not sure how to do that, okay? And go to your sponsor for any of these steps. But set goals that are realistic, that you can do, that are time sensitive. That's really important. Put a deadline on it. And then you go to your IPA, which is your day-to-day process. And if you're new to the team and you're watching, then all you need to do is for clarification on any of those points, just go to your sponsor and they can help you out with that. But we do have checklists we can use for IPA, especially if you're really, even if you want to be just a little bit in, or if you want to be all the way in. Okay, so that's really important. I have a little quote that I want to leave you guys with before we move to the next section. Entrepreneurship is having a few years of your life like most people won't live them, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. I really like that. That's super cool. Awesome. So I think what we need to do is, Julie's going to give you guys some homework in a minute. What we need to do is this. We need to rewire our brains so that instead of the pain coming from the comfort zone, okay, and crossing over the threshold into the uncomfortable, we need to find pain in not working our business, in not taking action. Okay, not real pain, but we need to feel uncomfortable with not working our business. And we need to find great pleasure in working our business, that it's going to light you up inside. How many of you, when you do your IPA and you've reached out to 5 people and you've followed up with some people and you've helped a team member and you've mentored somebody else and you've checked down a list that you have created for yourself or that your upline has done for you, how many of you, when you've completed that, how many of you light up inside and you feel awesome? I do. I feel supremely accomplished. And you know what? It shows in my business activity in my back office. It shows. My team grows. My customer base grows. And my downline is growing because I'm modeling and mentoring for them. Okay. Our brain constantly changes according to what we think and to what we do. So I think it's really important that we wire our brains that way. You really have to talk yourself into this. Everything is in between your ears. This whole business is right between here and here. So your brain is super powerful. So your brain can talk you in and talk you out right some quick, as we say here in Sackville. Okay. I'm going to hand it over to Julie, and Julie's going to talk to you guys about some homework just based on this training tonight. Go for it, Julie.
Okay. I got to say something first, because part of for those of you that came on early, I was like, you have to read this book, blah, blah, like, blah. And I'm really passionate about this book because when I heard it, she was speaking to me. I am telling you, it was like she was looking at everything that I have done in the last 3 years and went, da 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 da. And I'm going to tell you right now, this spoke to me because I'm a very coachable person, and I would have said I'm coachable. I was not coachable because I wasn't doing what I knew I needed to do. And it's all well and good for me to have pretended that I was being coachable and that I was doing all the right things. This is what I did with my business. I started with, why not? Okay, took these great products, love them. Everybody else is running the business. Everybody else is making money. Why not me? And I jumped from why not into IPA. I started talking to people, right? Which is a really good way to start when you're new. Don't get me wrong, okay? That's how you get your feet wet. It was excellent. But then it wasn't really IPA because I wasn't doing it as a business. I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't sticking to it. So it was modified IPA. This is all example of my not being coachable. I wasn't doing what I was told to do. I was told to start with your why, build your belief, set your goals, do the actions. And I did it all backwards, okay? And that's why I got stuck. So I'm telling you, this is why this really speaks to me. Now, I can spend another 6 months beating myself up about it, or I can do like I've been doing this month, and I'm saying, forget that, here I go. And so this is so incredibly powerful. So this homework that we're going to do, if we're really in, and I have completely been unwilling to say I was all in, because as I was doing all that, I knew that I wasn't really all in, so I was never willing to say it. But I'm telling you, when I get this homework done, then I'm going to allow myself to say I'm all in, because this is homework that's going to make you dig deep and really get to the root of it. And I'm telling you, if you do this homework and you follow through, you are all in and you are going to blow it up. Okay. So this is based on 4 questions that you have to dig deep and ask yourself. And then you're going to revisit that every single day, because like Tanya said, it's about what's pain and what's pleasure. And this is all based on, we're going to change what is painful and make it pleasurable. So reaching out to me was painful, so I avoided it. I'm going to change the way my brain's wired so that, like, when I don't do it, I'm going to be like, something's missing, right? Like, this is the whole thing. So here are the 4 questions, okay? And I'm going to cheat here to make it easier for you. And I'm putting it over here in the chat at the same time, okay? So number 1, you have to dig into your why. And just like Tanya said, what is your why? And not the superficial, easy, quick answer why. The onion layer deep why. The one that brings tears to your eyes. That's the why. And be selfish. It's about you. It's lovely and admirable to say you want to help other people. It is. It really is. It's truly wonderful. But it's not deep enough to get you to do the things you don't want to do when it gets hard. So you have to dig deep to this very intense, personal, heart-wrenching why. That's your first bit of homework. Okay? Number 2, why is this so important to me? Like, and you've got to dig deeper. Like, how is this going to change my life? How is this going to affect my family? How is this going to get me to long-term goals and the life that I want to lead? Again, I just pasted it in the, oh, maybe I didn't hit send, sorry. Okay, it's pasted there if you want to not write it down. Okay, so like this is really deep. Like this why, when you're digging as to why this is so important, it's about how it's going to impact you and your loved ones and your life. So it's really digging another level of that why. Third level, third question, if I don't achieve that, what is going to be the pain? And this is why it's really important, because the barriers that we put up to not do what we know we should do is because it's painful, it's uncomfortable, right? It's like what Tana talked about. We don't do things that make us uncomfortable. So the only way to replace that is to put that big ugly thing in front of you that is more painful. Like debt that will mean that, you know, I can't feed my kids. Like that's really painful. Something that some people have to face. And so it allows them to say, yeah, so this pain of picking up the phone, that's nothing, right? So that's the whole thing. You dig so deep that you look at, well, if I didn't get to my why, if I don't achieve that, what is the pain going to be? What is the cost to my life? What is the cost to my family? What am I going to miss out on? What is my family going to miss out on? So it's really digging deep enough to identify a new pain and to make, and this is why it is so, this is a really introspective activity. Like you really have to set aside the time to do this, because this is honest conversation that some of us don't have with ourselves. When I did that dream board thing, I'll tell you right now, I thought dream boards were kind of, yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. So when I went to the dream board activity and I started really hearing about it and really started, because I'm a positive person. I mean, a lot of you said, oh, you're so positive. Yeah, I'm positive. But like the possibility to capture that and use that to propel your life forward, I wasn't necessarily doing that. And that's when the dream board connection. And when I put on that dream board, cancer-free, everything changed for me, because it was something so tangible, like seeing my child cancer-free, like, and when it brought tears to my eyes, that was when I was like, oh, here we go. Like you really have to dig deep. So this is not something you're going to do when you're overtired or when your kids are going, mom, 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 mom. Like this is find some dig deep time. And then the last step is to look ahead 5 years into the future. And again, if I don't achieve my why, what is my life going to look like in 5 years? And for many of us, it's going to look exactly like it does now. That's enough to say, right? Or what will I be doing? What will I not be doing? What will I have given up because I didn't follow through? So once you answer these 4 questions, You have to revisit and revisit and revisit and revisit. And she says 3 times a day for 21 days. Why? Because we've read over and over again, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So you're literally using neuroplasty to reprogram your brain and teach your brain what is painful. And what becomes painful is what happens if you don't do this. And once if I don't do this, this is what my life is going to be, or this is what my kids are not going to have, or this is the situation going to be. Once that's the pain, then doing or avoiding these things that we've been avoiding all along is not painful anymore. You're like, no, I got to do that to get to there. It's literally reprogramming your brain. So that is the whole piece. If you really, really want to do this, you're going to do like Tanya's diagram. You're going to do it in the right order. You're going to start with this. And then this is going to allow you to say, okay, here are my goals. And this is what I need to do every day to get those goals. And you know what? It doesn't mean that being a diamond has to be the ultimate goal. I mean, for some people, it's not that high level. It's just enough to do this. So you've just got to figure that out. Why? And once you've got that why, what is it going to take to do that, to make that life that I want? Okay, so this is my goal. I'm a little passionate about it, as you can see, but it really spoke to me, and that's why. It's really digging deep and getting in and saying, okay, this is where the rubber hits the road.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie.
Yep.
Did I interrupt you?
No, I was just making sure that was what I wanted. Yep, that was it.
Awesome. And just on the tail of what you said too, it's recommended in this homework that you do this for 21 days, because we know that 21 days to build a habit. That's why there's a 21-day fix. But we want to do this for 21 days, and with intention, answer those questions every day. Like, seriously revisit those questions every day. But we will talk about that again at our next training, those same questions. And Tammy said in the chat just a second ago, this is awesome, deep, but awesome, or something like that. And this book is going to make us think. This training that's the whole thing. It's about digging deep. But if you listen to, passionate leaders within our company, doesn't matter what rank they're at and how they reach their goals, these are the types of things that they're talking about. It just it screams like it's written by a Plexus ambassador. The book does.
It is.
It truly does.
Yeah,
awesome.
She is.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you is there any questions? Anybody have anything they want to say, comment, question?
Oh, yay, somebody had a breakthrough. Woohoo! Those moments are so exciting. It hit you. That's awesome.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, I would recommend ordering the book. Like, this. It really spoke to me. And if you're not there yet, that's okay, right? Like, but it's a good book to have when you're like starting to go, like it's really great. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. Thanks for the comments. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually do save the comments too. This is the chat, and I can pop it into the comment section of the training post, the training post from last night, like I will the YouTube recording. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for coming out, guys. Go do your homework. Woo! Grow, grow, grow. Have an awesome week.
Thanks. It was awesome.
Okay. Thanks. See you guys.